tech site and movie.
Hi, I'm Nick Cerami, and I'm here with Paul Goebel. Paul is a Tucson native, an actor, comedian, and a television presenter. He attended the University of Arizona, won the TV Land Ultimate Fan Search, and is a producer of podcasts such as The Paul Goebel Show, Hey, Watch This, and Bottle Episode.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Excellent. I'm good.
Well, that's good. I know a lot of people know you from the show Beat the Geeks,
Right.
where you're the TV geek.
That's right.
For people who are unfamiliar, could you tell us a little bit about the show and your involvement with it?
Beat the Geeks was on Comedy Central, I think, back in 2000. Probably when you were, like, what, 5 years old or even born yet?
Yeah, I think I was 9.
About that? All right. And it was on at the same time as Ben Stein's Money, when there used to be game shows on Comedy Central. And it was me and 2 other guys. I was the TV geek, and there was the movie geek and the music geek. And then we had a 4th geek that changed every episode. And then contestants would come on and answer questions, and they would get easy questions, and we would get hard questions, and they would try to beat the geeks. And it was a great gig, because I just showed up and answered questions and got to insult people, and it was really fun. And we did 2 seasons, and I got to meet a bunch of celebrities, idols of mine, and I found out later, after we got canceled, that there was a French version of Beat the Geeks, and I finally got a copy of it, and it's hilarious because it's the same thing. They wear these dumb robes, and they're all real cocky, but they're all like they're speaking French, so they're like twice as annoying, you know, because they're French. And the best, I don't speak French, but the best part is, like, just like our show at the beginning, they introduce all the geeks, and the geeks insult people and say something cocky, and so you watch it, and the geeks are like this, and you don't know what they're saying, but it's all snotty. Except at the end, the last guy goes, "Bon chance," which of course means good luck. Right. And I thought that was brilliant. That was like so snotty. Bon chance. He was all French and total douchebags. It was a funny thing, but it was a great gig. I got to work for Comedy Central and meet a lot of cool people, and since then, it got me more into stand up.
Sure.
When I was in LA, so I've been doing stand up since then, and acting and stuff like that. But I just recently moved back to Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And I decided I would come down and do a show.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
And I know that there was an effort a couple years ago on Kickstarter to maybe get Beat the Geeks back going again. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I came, I would, shortly after the show went off the air, it was weird because there was like, a lot of people would recognize me from the show, and then it went off the air and it was done. And then there was like a groundswell, like all the like high school kids and stuff who watched it, who were now graduated and out in the world, would recognize me and be like, "Oh, I love that show." And so then as these people got older and got like real jobs and in positions of power, more people would say it. And I was like, well, let's do a new version. And I still kept in touch with the producers of the old version. Mm-hmm. So I talked to them about doing an updated version. And the problem is the Fox movie studio or whatever, they own the Beat the Geeks, the actual product, Beat the Geeks. So you can never do it without their permission. But I tried to get a new version going that was a little different. So, it was basically a new game show. It's called Uber Geek. Okay. And I put it together and I pitched it and we got some money, but we shot too high, okay, as you often do on Kickstarter, and we did not reach our goal. Okay. But the good side, the silver lining and all that is that I never have to donate any money to anyone's Kickstarter ever again, because I can say, well, my Kickstarter failed, so you know what? There you go. There's your Kickstarter too, friend.
Okay, sure. And you said when you were doing Beat the Geeks, when you were out in LA, that's when you started, doing stand-up and acting, doing more of that. Were you already in that world before, or did it help get you into it?
Yeah, well, I've been doing stand-up ever since college. I went to U of A. Mm-hmm. I remember when Laughs opened up, we would always go there for the open mic and stuff. And then after college, I moved to Chicago and did a lot of comedy there. And the great thing was, and I did shows in LA and stuff before Beat the Geeks, but the great thing was, because there's so much competition, I had a TV credit automatically, so I could get on more and more shows. And so, man, I fed off that TV credit for a lot of years. We were only on 2 seasons, but here we are, 2016, almost 2017, we're still talking about it. So I fed on that for a lot of years. And then I went back to Comedy Central. I was on at midnight in May. And it was all because of friends I made. I've known Chris Hardwick for many, many years. So yeah, I've been doing stand-up, pretty steadily in LA and around the LA area. And, and I try to get on as much as I can. It's stand-up is a great way to, kind of get the demons out. Sure. And it's a great gig. And so I came to town. We got this gig tomorrow, and I'm doing your show tonight.
Right.
And yeah, it's anytime I can get on stage, I like to, because that's my time. That's my 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. So
absolutely,
I highly recommend it.
Okay. And I know that you're known as the King of TV. Right. So I was hoping maybe you could tell us, what do you think is the best thing that's on right now? What do you think is super overrated too? Oh, well, this has been, it's a weird year for TV, especially this year, because I think the whole political climate made people so unsure of what was going to be welcome and what wasn't going to be welcome. Unlike when George Bush was president, there was a whole sitcom that made fun of him. Right. But now people are like, well, do we want to make jokes about Republicans? And so people they produce safe stuff for the networks, but the great stuff is on cable or on like HBO or on streaming services and like that. And that's where the best stuff is coming from. Like Stranger Things was really popular on Netflix, and Atlanta on FX is really is just changing the way they make sitcoms, and all the stuff on HBO. And the great thing about it is, like, stuff on HBO, you get stuff that's really exciting, like Game of Thrones, or real funny sitcoms or whatever. But then they'll try something like Luck, which is a great idea and it's got great acting, but they had to shut it down because all these horses were dying. Apparently, it was all about horse racing. And then you got the show Vinyl, that was on last season, which seemed amazing, but then you watch it and go, oh, this is really actually terrible. But like, you can see what they were trying to do. Sure. It's like I see where all the money was spent, and I get what you were trying to do, but just it didn't hit. But it doesn't matter because they let people kind of experiment, and you can go 2-3 episodes without really getting into the meat of the show, unlike a network where they have to put everything in the first 5 minutes, sure, to get your attention. So I'd say as far as networks go, a lot of stuff on Fox is really good. Last Man on Earth is still very funny. Son of Zorn, I think, is very funny. There's another show coming on on Fox. I can't remember what it's called, but it's going to be on Sundays. There's a half-hour sitcom that looks good. A lot of good stuff on Netflix coming up. I like a lot of the foreign stuff, a lot of the English cop shows and stuff on Netflix. Okay. I like to watch that because it's like they've already been on in England or whatever, so they're so different here. And like they had Law and Order UK. I don't know if you watched that show. That was very cool. Yeah, it was just like regular Law and Order, except they were all English. Sure. So it's fun to see all that different stuff on like BBC or Netflix or wherever you see it. As far as what's overrated, I gotta say, SNL had a great year a couple seasons ago, and now I think ever since they let Trump host, they realized they're kind of toothless. Yeah. So I think this season has been a little overrated, especially this last episode. Holy crap, that was no good. And I think one of the worst shows that people like is probably Nashville, which got canceled, and I was so happy ABC canceled it, but then like the Country Music Channel brought it back, and they just had a big special. And I hate that show so much. I love a nice nighttime drama, but man, I don't get it. Sure. It's the new ER, in my opinion, which was probably my most hated show. I still hate ER. It's not even out anymore. I still hate it. Okay, fair enough. So you're in town for a week, a few days? Just a few days. Christmas is the weekend. My family, my mom still lives here, so I was gonna, come by and see her, and I want to do a show while I was in town, and then go back. I live in Mesa, so I was just gonna drive back there. So it's a short drive, but I'm just here tonight and tomorrow. I got the big show tomorrow at Mr. Head's at 10 o'clock, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. And I wanted to come in early so I could try some jokes out at another show, and it turned out to be your show. Right on. So so I'm going to do that tonight, and then eat a lot of EGs while I'm here. That's the main thing I do while I'm in town, man. I got one in the car waiting for me as soon as we wrap this up. I'm going to eat all kinds of EGs. And I've been eating EGs since I got here. I weighed 200 pounds when I got here. Now look at this. This is all EGs. That's what this is. A day and a half of EGs. Oh man, I can't stop. I know every person who does comedy has some horrific bombing story. Yeah. I just wanted to know if you have one off the top of your head. Well, I mean, I still bomb to this day, but I don't care. I care a lot less about it now when I bomb, because I know as long as I'm trying to do a good show, there's other things that
that will make people hate it. But I was one time, I was doing a show, I was opening for Greg Fitzsimmons at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach. And I had known Greg for a long time, and he was just doing 2 shows one night on a Friday. And I went there, and it was 2 shows. And the first show, I killed it. I don't know why, but for some reason, they loved me. And the middler who was supposed to go on between me and Greg was late. He got caught in traffic. So I'm like stretching. I was supposed to do like 7 minutes. I ended up doing 10 or 12. And I'm just screwing around and talking to people. And man, they love me. And I was like, all right, this will be easy. Great crowd. And so then I go eat some dinner, come back for the second show. And I don't know if it was because these people were already done with the night. They had already gone out or whatever, but they hated me. They did not find, I did the exact same act, but they, for whatever reason, they were not interested in what I was saying. They didn't know who I was. They didn't care. At one point, I was like talking to this girl up front, and she was like, don't talk to me. And I was like, whoa, all right, I guess that's not gonna work. And it was, and I even went, I had my girlfriend, the girl I was dating, who's now my wife, she went to the show with me, and I got back to the green room, and I was like, wow, they hated me. And she goes, yeah, I know. I was like, all right, I guess I didn't imagine it.
She wouldn't even bail you out of it?
No, because she saw the difference in the 2 shows. She was like, yeah, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But then the middle guy went up, he killed it. So I don't know, it must have been me. I don't know why they hated me. But, you know, you're gonna always bomb for one reason or another. Just don't make it be your fault. That's the key. If you bomb because the crowd is bad, or there was an alarm went off, or somebody threw something at you or whatever, just as long as it's not your fault and you do your time and the money's green, that's all you got to worry about.
Right on. All right, well, thank you for coming in and
my
talking
pleasure.
with us. And yeah, you can see Paul tonight at the screening room. That's at 7:30, or tomorrow at Mr. Head's on 4th Ave, and that's at 10 o'clock. And coming down from downtown Tucson, 5 on 20, this is Nick Cerami and Paul Goebel.